सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिर्ब्रह्मनिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परमतस्मै तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव।
ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। We are seeing the last few verses of the section which talks about the creation mythology or the cosmology of creation. And once again, it doesn't hurt to remember that the purport of the Upanishad is not in creation. The Upanishad is least bothered about creation, what came, what went, how it came, and how it interacted with other things that came, what came first, what came second. This is not where the Tatparya, the commitment of the Upanishad, resides. The commitment of the Upanishad, any Upanishad, is not in the creation, but in the nature of, but is firmly in the nature of the Purusha as oneself. What is this Purusha? That is everything, that completes everything, that is of the nature of Purna, and that is without a second, and that is ultimately one's own nature. That is where the commitment of the Upanishad lies. So it behooves us to remember this, because we have been seeing how each and everything comes out of this. And why do we need to see this? Because we need to see the non-separateness of the Purusha from the creation. The karya gunaha. The gunaha means the qualities. The qualities or the signature, that's a better word perhaps, the signature of the cause is there in the effect, because the effect is non-separate from the cause. This is something to learn through this section, that the stamp of the Purusha is there in all the so-called effects in the form of the 5 elements and the elementals that have come from the Purusha. So it's all about non-separation, because remember Shaunaka's question, which is still being answered by the teacher. And what was Shaunaka's question? Shaunaka's initial question was, Kasminnu bhagavo vijnate sarvam idam vijnatam bhavati. What is it that knowing which everything that is here on the plane of the objects of the sense organs, everything that I see, hear, etc., what is it that knowing which everything is as good as known? That is the question that is being answered, that is continuing to being answered. This exactly is the question. And so, this being the question, we have to see now what is it that is being answered, and then what is it? It's very clear, it is Purusha. And what is this Purusha? The truth of oneself. So, then with that spirit, let us look at the next mantra, uh, number 8. And so, let me share this, then we'll see. Mantra number 8, and then it's a kind of a alliterative and beautiful mantra. Sapta pranaः prabhavanti tasmat saptarchishas samidhas sapta homaः sapta ime lokayeshu charanti pranaः guhashaya nihitas sapta sapta. So you can see that the word sapta is repeated. So we have 1 sapta, 2 sapta, 3 sapta, 4 sapta, and 5 and 6 saptas. 6 iterations of the word sapta in this verse itself, and it's a metaphorical verse. And so let us see what this means. Sapta pranaha. We only know pancha pranaha. Now suddenly sapta pranaha. How? Well, it is very clear that the meaning of the word prana is not prana, vyana, apana, udana, samana. It's not that. It's not the 5 pranas that we know very well. Then what is it? It is the indriyas. There is a nice, what is that called? There is a precedent in the Upanishad where the indriyas are known as prana. Indriya itself is prana. Somewhere it is said, I don't know where, but when we don't know where, a good, what is that? A good guess would be, what is that? A good guess would be Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And so, Sapta Pranaha, and the prana is called, is another name by the Indriyas. Indriyas go by one more name, which is pranaha. But again, even if we take it as indriya, indriyani, then also how many indriyas do we have? 5. Jnana indriyas, 5 sense organs. And so where did this number 7, where it has come from? That is something again very intriguing. And for that, we have to count like the Upanishad does. So Upanishad has a different count, and it's a very interesting count. So each eye is taken as 1. So how many? 2. Each ear is taken as 1. How many? 2 more. So 4. Each nostril is taken as 1. And so how many? So 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. Then what is left? Mouth. How many? Tongue. How many mouths do we have? Thankfully, only 1. And even with that 1 mouth, we can't seem to stop talking. We can't seem to stop eating. Okay. That's why there is only 1 mouth. And so, total how many? 7. This is what is called Sapta Pranaha. The 7, including the eyes and the 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, and one mouth, tongue. So this is called Sapta Pranaha, and the tongue doubles here as two Jnanendriyas. It's the sense of taste and also the sense of touch. If we see small babies and also animals, the way they sense objects is immediately through the tongue. The cat will just lick. First, it will sniff at something and then lick to get to know. Even the dog. And even small babies, what do? They immediately put things in their mouth as a way of sensing what it is like, what the shape is like. So the sense of touch is, so the tongue doubles as two indriyas, sense of touch and sense of taste, and then the others are all there with the respective organs called golakas. So sapta pranaha prabhavanti tasmat. To that tasmat means from that these prabhavanti, prakarshena bhavanti, very without, flawlessly they have been put together. Flawlessly prabhavanti. Flawlessly does not mean that there will not be any eye problems or ear problems or any kind of problems with the indriyas, but even those problems are because of some karmic residues, and so that is what has to be understood. Because of some karmic residues, there are these there are all these things, and then so these disturbances, the disturbances are part of the order, and that's why the order is the order transcends the disturbances, because the disturbances are built into an order. And so therefore this order of Bhagavan, the order of the Jnanendriyas, the organs of the sense organs, are, there is a knowledge behind it, there is an intelligence behind it, and they have all come from Bhagavan. Then the Mundakopanishad gives a very beautiful clue and a beautiful way of looking at our own sense organs and how they function. And so usually we don't think about the sense organs at all. The eyes keep seeing some things or the other, the mind keeps wanting, the tongue comes out and says, okay, I also want, the ears also want to hear everything. It just goes on. We don't think about it at all. So we become mindless consumers of the Jagat and of the various names, forms, sights, sounds of the Jagat are just pouring into the jiva through these various apertures, and then they are not recognized, they are not questioned, they are not thought about, and they are certainly not interrogated or inquired into. This mantra gives us little food for thought and makes us stop in our tracks from being mindless consumers of all the things, all the distractions, all the things, not even distractions, all the impressions that pour in through the sense organs. So here the Upanishad urges us to look at this interaction between the sense objects and the sense organs as a continuous homa, a religious ritual, a spiritual ritual, a fire ritual. The homa is a fire ritual where you have oblations. And so sapta archishaha. Archishaha means oblations, and samidhaha, fuel. And so when the oblations contact the fuel, what happens? Homa happens. That is what is called homa. It's so beautiful. So here sight just takes place. We don't even think about it. Eyes fall on an object, sight immediately takes place there, and the ears fall on the sound and capture the sound there without any time at all. So this is the reason, one of the reasons why we are unable to look at everything that is happening with the sense organs as homa, as a fire ritual. And so here, this is something which is very, very interesting, is that if it is a homa, that means what? That means that this is Ishvara's homa, because everything has come from the Purusha. Purusha is another name for Ishvara. So if it is Ishvara's homa, and then so what is it that has what does it have to do with me? The answer is nothing. Nothing at all. Here I think I am the seer, I am the hearer. Yes, this is the identification. So this is with the sense organs which is there, which interrupt this homa, because the free will, what does it do? The free will mixed up with ajnanam takes these sense organs to be oneself alone, not even my sense organs, me sense organs. I am the eyes, I am this, I am that, and then whatever I see, whatever I hear becomes my property. This is not homa. Homa is letting go. And so this mantra is designed to not only it's a very wonderful mantra, slightly sneaky also, because it tells us that everything has come from the Purusha, and whilst doing so, it also tells us that these eyes, etc., they are belonging to this homa that we see in the universe. The whole universe is a homa, and the eyes, etc., and all the sense organs are also participating in the homa. And so therefore the free will has got nothing to do with it, and I has nothing to do with it. The I is Brahman, the I is Ishvara, and so therefore this claiming of the sense organs as me alone and identification with the sense organs has to be loosened. And one way to loosen it and shake off this wrong notions and wrong identification is through looking at everything as a homa. So so therefore the teaching is this, that so sapta pranaha prabhavanti tasmat purushat, and then saptarshishah prabhavanti, sapta samidhah prabhavanti, sapta homaha prabhavanti. That prabhavanti is for all of them. So archish means the archihi flames, samidhaha fuel, and so the fuel makes the flames go high. And what is the fuel? The object of the senses are the fuel which makes the flames in the form of sight, sound, etc. take place, and actually it is an offering. So the sense objects are maybe objects of desires, things that one wants badly, that's maybe what they are. But then the sense objects are much more than that. The person who doesn't have this awareness takes the sense objects to be means for fulfilling desires by latching on, sense organs to be means for latching on to the sense objects and fulfilling desires. But here the sense objects are pouring into the sense organs in the form of subtle and gross impressions, just like the ghee is pouring into the fire. And what is the fire? The sense organs themselves are the fire, and the sense objects are the oblations. So the oblations are pouring into the fire, and then what happens as a result of the oblations pouring into the fire? The archishah, the archish means the what is that called? The flames shine brightly. So the brightly shining flames of the sense organs welcome the sense objects in the form of a universal homa. This is how it is for the Jnani. Impressions come, impressions go on their own without sticking to anything, and the Jnani is aware of this Homa taking place and does not interfere in the Homa. Does not say this Samidha, this Samid. Samid means the fuel. I am going to keep for myself. Why should I put it in? I want it. So there is no sense of I. There is no sense of identification with either the sense objects or, for that matter, even the sense organs. There is no sense of I there, and the I sense being totally and completely absent, then the Homa takes place. And then what happens is that then one is participating in this Homa, like the Bhagavad Gita says in the 3rd chapter, 10th verse. What does it say? Sahayajñah praja srishtva purovachah prajapatihi अनेन प्रसविष्यध्वम् एषवोस्त्विष्ट कामधुक्. So this is what Bhagavan says in the 3rd chapter, that this whole thing, this whole creation was made in the spirit of the Homa. The concept of Homa came along with the creation. That was there already along with the creation, because this concept of Homa is something that has to be deeply internalized, because this is the ticket to redemption from body identification, mind identification, sense organ identification, etc. So the Homa, the ability to do Homa was given along with the creation, and then it's almost like Lord Brahmaji said, Anena prasavishyadhvam, and use this concept of Homa and then grow spiritually and grow materially also. No harm in enjoying the sense objects if we know them to be Homa. And so this is a Homa, and then it is, so whatever Homa means, it is consumed, it is time bound, and it's over, and then you don't hang on to it afterwards. So all these things, the word Homa is very beautiful here, awesome here it is actually. And so this is, it is reminiscent of this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, which says that the creator, here Lord Brahmaji, said that I have given you this to redeem yourself. I have given you this to enjoy. In fact, if you look at it as a Homa, if you look at the entire creation and your own participation of your own body-mind complex in the entire creation as a Homa, then it is not binding in nature. It's not binding in nature because it is there. It is all you. It is just wonderful. And it's not at all binding in nature. You can just let go, sit back, relax, and just be. Just learn to be. And so this is the idea here. So Saptarchishaha, so Archishaha, 7 flames dance in the form of the eyes, ears, mouth, etc., waiting to receive the Samidhaha. The Samidhaha means the objects of enjoyment, creating 7 homas sometimes simultaneously. And so the physical eyes and the ears, the golakas, means the sense organs themselves, not the perception. That perception is a power. So the sense organs themselves are Agni Kundas. And the sense, the perception power are the flames which dance in those Agni Kundas, the Golakas, the places, like the eyes, etc. Sight is the flame. Eyes is the place where this Homa fire is lit, and the objects captured by the eyes, for example, is the Homa itself. So that is the oblation. And so like this, this is what is talked about. And then here this is made clear, Sapta ime lokaha. The lokaha, don't think of 7 up, 7 down and Brahma loka, etc. Lokaha is golakaha. Golakaha means the actual physical eyes, the physical tongue, the physical ears. They become the residing place for the sense, sense perceptions. So that power of perception, that power resides in a particular place. So the eyes, the physical eyes are the office where sight takes place, is the place where the sight takes place. Sight takes place in the eyes, hearing takes place in the ears. So lokaha means eyes, ears, etc. Yeshu charanti pranaha, where these pranas move. The pranas means here the ability to see, the power of sight, the power of hearing, all that they have their own places where they move, and that is their office. So the five indriyas have their office, and because now that the pandemic has receded, nobody is working from home. So now they have to go to the office. And so that archisha, that those flames in the form of the knowing, that knowingness of the sense objects, etc., this archisha, that all of them move in their own offices. Swaswa, karyalaye charanti. They move in their own offices. So they go to office, and then the eyes open, the office is open, so the sight takes place. And it's not a 9 to 5. It is more like a 6 in the morning to 10 in the night, that kind of an office. It's open, and no weekends. Every day it is open. And then finally, the sight is tired. Eyes, the office itself is tired, and everything is tired. And then what happens? The office closes down. The eyes close. The ears don't have flaps, otherwise they would also close, but they kind of withdraw. All of the sense perceptions withdraw. And then what happens? They go home. Finally, they go home. What is the home? The heart. Guha shayaha. They go to sleep in the heart, in a causal form. Very sweetly, they withdraw from the sense organs, the power of perception, etc. Withdraw from the buddhi. The buddhi is the office, you can say, or these golakas are the offices. And then they withdraw from the mind buddhi, and then go to the resting place called the heart. And they resolve or rest in the heart. Sapta Sapta, all 7 of them. And so the Homa is done for the day. And the Homa now is, and the Agni Kundas, the various places where the Homa was happening, has cooled down. And now it is all covered. And the next morning, as soon as the eyes open, the Homa starts. First, you look at the familiar objects. You look at your bedside table. You look at your glass of water. You look at some photo you have on the wall. And then slowly you wake up. And so you keep looking at many things. Then the sounds of the birds enter the ears. All these things happen. And then so therefore this is a beautiful way, a fantastic verse, and a beautiful way of looking at the day-to-day things which one takes for granted and with which one identifies wrongly as oneself. The power of perception, etc., the eyes, etc., they are just a place where this perception is taking place. The perception is Purusha, and the flames in the form of the eyes, the power to see, etc., is also Purusha, and these sense objects are also Purusha, and this the so-called Homa where is just the Purusha meeting Purusha in another form. And so this itself can become a great meditation. It's just an amazing meditation to just an open eye meditation. Whatever you see, a homa is taking place, I have nothing to do with it. Sight is happening, hearing is happening, everything is happening. It's just amazing, really, really amazing verse. Beautiful way to look at it, a nice meditation also. Next one. अतः समुद्रा गिरयश्च सर्वे अस्मात् स्यन्दन्ते सिन्धवः सर्वरूपाः अतश्च सर्वा ओषधयो रसश्च येनैष भूतैस्तिष्ठते ह्यन्तरात्मा. Now it is getting ready to close, and so some of the things that were not mentioned that has come from the Purusha are being mentioned now as the Upanishad, as the Guru in the Upanishad is getting ready to wrap up this section on creation cosmology. So ataha means now, or means thereafter, whatever you want to see, however you want to take it. Samudraha, Samudraha, everybody knows, oceans. Girayaha, mountains. Sarve. Sarve means all the mountains, not just the Himalayas, because it's in India, not just any other Alps, but all the mountains. Any kind of mountains you see, whether they are in Switzerland or South Africa or India or anywhere else, are all from Asmat. Asmat. From this, Asmat means Asmat Purushat. It's from this Purusha alone. Nowhere else. It's from the Purusha alone. And Asmat here, Purushat. And from this Purusha alone, they have come. And Syandante, they flow. Mountains flow? Yeah, why not? They flow as part of the creation. They don't flow like rivers, but you see here, Sindhavaha is going to come, rivers, and then Samudraha. So since there are two things that flow, the mountains are also included here as a big flow from the Purusha. All of them, Sindhavaha means rivers. In fact, there is a river called Sindhu. And the whole ecosystem here is being talked about. Anything that we love, anything that we appreciate, the green mountains, the high mountains, the snowy mountains, and whatever other forms, the rocky mountains, whatever forms the mountains may be, we appreciate them. Each one has its own beauty, and then so all the mountains, Sarve, have come from this Purusha alone. And Samudraha, Samudraha means oceans. The salty oceans, the majestic oceans, the big oceans, all of them have come from Purusha. Purusha alone, all of them have come from. There is nothing outside the Purusha. And then, of course, we also include the Golakas. We include the Golakas, and then the Golakas means what? The places where these mountains are, we include that as well. And then so all of them flow, Sarvarupaha, in various forms. So all the rivers, various forms of rivers, small rivulets, small brooks, and then big rivers, huge rivers, and then some rivers, they have a lot of, mineral content. Some rivers have a lot of other things, like there is gold at the bottom, etc., etc. All of them are there. All types of rivers, all types of mountains, all manner of oceans, Sarvarupaha, various forms have come from this Purusha. Then thereafter, Ataha cha Sarvaha Oshadhayaha, all kinds of plants. And what are the plants? Source of food. That is what they are. All kinds of plants which are the source of food have come from Bhagavan. And what do the plants do? They feed the animals, and then the human beings eat the animals. That's what they do. If one is non-vegetarian, otherwise you can straight away eat the plants. And the plants are again very intelligent. They feed the body. They have proteins. They have carbo. Plants includes grains, all kinds of grains. We saw vrihi, yavaha, barley, paddy, and wheat. All these things. They are the source of nutrition. Salts, minerals, carbohydrate, fats, proteins, anything and everything, all the bodies need, not just the human body. Different things the different bodies need, like we see in the wild, that were all the things which various animals eat. Some animals only survive on eating small insects, and some animals survive on various kinds of, what is that, these panda bears survive on bamboo. That's all they eat. Morning to night, they will be sitting, munching on bamboo shoots and bamboos. And so, like this is so every animal has its own things. The grass is eaten by most of the animals, the horse, etc., horse, cow, goat, etc. So, all kinds of grasses. And the grasses are also very nutritious. And elephants also eat grass, various kinds of grasses, and so therefore this is meant for nutrition. And so oshadhayah, and then along with oshadhayah, rasaha. Rasaha means what? Rasaha means this thing, what is that? Nutrition. So rasaha means nutrition. So the content of these plants, etc., is the essence of the plants. What is that? Nutrition. And that is what makes the beings survive. So Purusha indirectly is nourishing the beings, first by creating all these things, mountains, oceans, and then plants and the world of plants, which in turn nourish all the beings. Rasascha sarvaha. So all the rasaha, all these nutrients, what do they do? Yena, by which eshaha bhutaihi tishthate hi antaratma. A big caveat here: the antaratma here is not inner atma. It's if we look at it without thinking, that's the meaning we will come across. But that's not what is being talked about. Antaratma here means sukshma sharira. Is very technical and specific to this. So yena bhutaihi tishthate hi antaratma. So antaratma is not atma here. Antaratma is the subtle body, and bhutaihi, gross body. So along with the gross body, tishthate, sits the subtle body. Now why is there the need to mention it? Because this is the basic definition of survival. Is that the sukshma sharira and the sthula sharira should be together, intact. Because if there is only sthula sharira, what is it called? Dead body. It is called cadaver. Okay, that becomes the samidh, means fuel for medical students to practice their anatomy knowledge. That's what it is. So it's just a dead body. And if there is only sukshma sharira without sthula sharira, what is it? It's a ghostly body, kind of a body. It's a ghost. It's a sthula sharira. Sukshma sharira means it will be It will be full of raga dveshas and desires and all these kinds of things. And then what will it be? It will be just hanging around, waiting to experience things and being very frustrated because it doesn't have a sthula body. Now, the gross body and the sukshma body are put together intelligently and flawlessly, so much so that we don't have any mistake being made by Bhagavan. We have no mistake at all. No mistake being made by Bhagavan. It is totally flawless because the appropriate Sukshma Sharira is there along with the Sthula Sharira. Matching. So, monkey body will have what? Monkey mind. Monkey Sthula Sharira will have monkey Sukshma Sharira. That's why you will never see a meditating monkey because you will only see a jumping monkey because that's how the mind is. That's why we say monkey mind. So if a monkey was very quiet and sitting in one place, then that doesn't mean it has suddenly become spiritual. And that's only for Panchatantra tales and all that. That is fine. But here, if you see a monkey sitting quietly, take it to the vet because it's not being itself. It's not being itself at all. It's not supposed to sit quietly. It is supposed to jump. It's supposed to make faces at you, and it is supposed to snatch things from your hand. That is what it does. And nowhere should you even have, you cannot even say banana aloud. It knows English. It knows the spelling. It knows everything. And so this is monkey. So monkey mind in a monkey body, and then what else? Earthworm mind in an earthworm body, and frog mind in a frog body. This is how it is put together. By what? Purusha, flawlessly. Nowhere will you see monkey mind in a human body, even though one complains, I have monkey mind. It is as though. So that is so it is put flawlessly together, and as long as Sukshma and Sthula bodies are together, we say the person is alive. So therefore the Purusha is keeping this body alive. So Antaratma means like what we call in English the soul or Sukshma Sharira. Sukshma Sharira and Sthula Sharira, gross body and subtle body are there together. How long? As long as you nourish them. Of course, there is a lifespan, but that's not what's being talked about here. As long as they are getting nourishment, they will be together. They will be together as long as they are getting the nourishment. And then what happens? They separate. Once the food is withdrawn, the Sukshma Sharira feels, why should I stay here? I am not being nourished. There is not enough to tether me to this particular body. Tata, finished, I am gone. And so the Sukshma Sharira separating from Sthula Sharira is called death. This is the definition of death. So therefore, what does the Mundaka say? Because of food alone, yena. So because of this Oshadhi. So yena Oshadhina. By which food alone the Sukshma Sharira Bhutaha Antaratma Bhutaihi Saha Tishthate. That's why it is in third case. Bhutaihi Saha Tishthate. It is there as the Sukshma Sharira is there along with Sthula Sharira, as long as Oshadhibhyo Annam, as long as you give them Annam, as long as you nurture them and give them Annam, what happens? They remain together, and then you are equipped to go about your day and then have your life, and then have thoughts, have impressions, have actions, and then look forward to the result of actions. All these you can do so long as the gross body and the subtle body are together. And so this is the This is the verse, very nice verse. Let's make sure we have covered everything. Yeah, samudraha, virayaha, and then oshadhayaha, rasascha, yena, esha, bhutaihi tishthate, hyantaratma. Indeed, the subtle body, which is called the antaratma, is seated. By what? By the gross body. Gross body includes all the gross elements, the flesh, blood, bones, marrow, muscles, etc. All of them become a home for the subtle body, and that is nourished by the food alone. The food and the plants and the medicines, and they are the reason why these two are together, constituting the definition of survival. Now the Upanishad truly wraps this up in the 10th mantra by saying, by taking a shortcut and saying, everything has come from the Purusha. And not only everything has come from the Purusha, therefore what? The Purusha is everything. Everything is non-separate from the Purusha. Purusha evedagam vishvam karma tapo brahma paramritam. Purusha eva idam vishwam. The whole universe is nothing other than this Purusha alone. And therefore the Purusha is called Virat. Vividham Rajate iti Virat. Vishwa is the universe, and then along with Vishwa, what is this Vishwa? It is nothing but the Purusha, Vividham Rajate, that which is in many and varied forms. It shines, Rajate, Raj to shine, so Vividham Rajate. Raj also in a way of being the Raja, overlord, so that also we can take, but mostly Rajate, shines. It shines in many, many forms, and so this whole entire Vishwam is nothing other than the Virat Purusha, the Purusha which is all-knowing, all-pervasive, ever-present, never absent, and that which has, as it were, entered each and every aspect of creation, including this body-mind-sense complex, both subtle and gross. This is the thing. And then what else is the Purusha? The Purusha is karma. Purusha is action. Purusha is tapas. Tapas means what? The austerities, various kinds of austerities, etc. Then the Purusha, and what else is this Purusha? The Purusha is nothing but Brahman, which is Amritam. Amritam means which is not available for death, which is free of death, and which is para, absolute. So this is what is to be known. We'll just look at the translation first. So this is what is to be known as that the Purusha not only has things come from the Purusha, that is the first level of understanding, and then when we have seen all the things that have come from the Purusha, may as well go to the next level and say, in fact, all the things are nothing but the Purusha. So can we look at it the other way also? Then Purusha is all things? No. All things are Purusha, but Purusha is Para and Amrita, transcends everything. Whereas all things are neither Para nor Amrita. They are not, all things are not infinite. Everything is finite. But the infinite Purusha is as it were blessing every finite object with its infinite presence and infinite knowingness, consciousness, beingness and consciousness is supplied by the Purusha, and then the Vishwam is just name and form, a hollow shell, and the Purusha, as it were, is abiding in all these shells and making them alive, making them come alive. Really, really beautiful. So this is the this is this is the message of this. And then then further it says etad yaha veda. Etat means this, not just this mantra, which is the conclusion, but this whole section up till now, what we have studied. Etat, this one, Yaha Veda. That Yaha is hidden in Yo here, mixed up with Etat, so it's hard to see. Etat Yo Veda. Etat Yaha Veda. The one who knows this, not as a what is it called? Not as a um, abstraction, but as a well entrenched and assimilated knowledge. In fact, as one's own identity. Nihitam guhayam, in the cave of the heart. This is something that's always talked about. Cave of the heart, meaning one has taken this knowledge to heart. One is it for the person, it is not just a possibility, it's not just a concept, it has come to one's heart. It's not just, it is a lived knowledge and a well assimilated knowledge. So the one who knows, what does that person do? Saha, that person, avidya granthim, the knot of, what is avidya? Self-ignorance. Vikirati. Vikirati means tears asunder, destroys the knot of self-ignorance. So the self-ignorance is very naughty, pun intended. So what does it do? It makes one go after everything except the Purusha, and then it go so that one doesn't know one's own nature, that one is going after things even though one is not at all needing to do that, because one is the Purusha. Without knowing, one falls into the vat of what is called samsara. Sorrow, fear, and shock, and sense of failure, sense of non-accomplishment, all these things persist where? In this vat of avidya slash samsara. So this avidya is like a knot. It's like, a knot. A knot is very interesting because even a simple slip knot has two ends. You have to, one end you hold on and pull, then it immediately comes apart. Another end you pull, it becomes tighter, in fact. So you have to know which end to pull. And the end to pull here is given. The key is given here. Purusha evedam vishwam. It reminds us of the Purusha Sukta. Purusha evedagam sarvam yad bhutam yaccha bhavyam. This utamrita, that amrita also comes. And this is Ishanaha, this Ishvara, this Purusha is Amrita, and it is everything. Everything is non-separate from the Purusha. This, not knowing this, is called Ajnanam. Knowing this is freedom. And so not knowing this, one gets into all kinds of scrapes. One has all kinds of desires to accomplish this, that, or the other, and then one identifies with one's accomplishments and becomes a karta. I did this, I am the doer, and then one becomes a bhokta. Now I want to sit down and enjoy what I have done, and then what? Whatever is comes is not enjoyable. So then one becomes karta again, and then bhokta, and this being batted back and forth between karta bhokta, karta bhokta, karta bhokta, pramata, karta bhokta, this is what is avidya granthi. This is the knot. One is caught in this knot of self-ignorance, but knowing this, one is freed. Knowing which, one is freed. Not knowing this, one is caught. So here the avidya granthihi vikirati iha. Iha means in this life. Iha, right here in this janma itself. So Mya, oh dear one, oh loving one. And this is how the teacher addresses the student. Hey Somya, oh you loving one, oh you dear one. And right here you have the opportunity to kick this avidya goodbye by understanding everything as the Purusha. So karma is nothing but the Purusha. Tapas, so we can take it this way. Karma means laukika karma, tapas means religious karma. Everything is Brahman. Purusha is Brahman. So you see there is a gender bender here. So first we start with the masculine and then it ends up in neuter, Brahma. Everything is Brahman. Everything is Purusha. Purusha is Brahman. And so your ability to act comes from is Brahman, and your ability to do religious austerities, meditation, etc., that is also Brahman. And then the one who knows, I'm going to check the bhashya here if there is something I'm missing. Hold on. So the one who knows this is the one who is free of avidya, free of avidya. So I just want to see how he how Adi Shankara talks about this the karma. Yes, yeah. So this is karma is religious karma and laukika karma, Adi Shankara says, and then tapas is austerities. We can take it as, but it is also jnanameva tapaha. So the knowledge derived from this knowledge that I am free is also Brahman alone, non-separate from Brahman. So this knowledge and the fruit of that knowledge, the freedom, all is meant. Everything has not only come from Brahman, everything is Brahman. And then it is that tamas of ignorance goes not just after death, but right now. Right now, the avidya granthi can go, because now we know which end to pull, and the end that loosens the knot, not just that tightens the knot. And so here we have to take what is the take away here? What is there to take home from this whole section? We will just sort of see and wrap this section up. So there are some important messages from this so-called Srishti Prakarana. So the creation cosmology. So so what are the messages? So first is that this is, so what is the first message? That this Vishwam, the entire universe, disciplines, austerities, and all branches of knowledge, and the five elements. We all saw this in this section. All the lokas, animals, plants. What did we see? One more thing was there: animals, plants, rivers, oceans, etc. Everything is Purusha Bhagavan alone. So the whole creation is Bhagavan. So that means what? There is no creation, there is only Bhagavan. So after talking in detail about the creation is swallowed up. In this mantra, this is what is called Indian magic. This is what it is. You don't need to make the rabbit disappear. You don't need to make anything disappear. While in full view, we have made the creation disappear just cognitively through a shift in how we recognize the universe as Bhagavan alone. So just like when you know gold, there is the ornaments disappear. When you know clay, the pots disappear, because you know the truth of the pots. So you don't have to make the pots disappear. The pots, you will never look at the pot the same way, because once that you know it is clay, you'll never know, you'll never see that. So then what is this universe? Mithya. Because it is subject to disappearance, it is mithya. It is subject to disappearance in two ways. First of all, it is not constant. Whenever you sleep, the universe disappears. So it is inconstant. And then secondly, it disappears because of this knowledge, and it also disappears because it is finite. And so therefore, this is, so the Jagat is mithya. It is dependent on Brahman. It is a dependent reality. That is the first message to take. And Brahman alone is everything, including this body, mind, sense complex, is dependent upon Brahman alone. And then the next thing to take away from this is that this answers the question asked by Shaunaka, Kasminnu Bhagavo Vijñate Sarvam Vijñatam Iva Bhavati. Knowing what, O Lord, O revered Sir, is everything as good as known. So then the answer was given, Ishvara, Bhagavan, Purusha. Not only have things come from the Purusha, Purusha is everything. Purusha is everything that you can count, everything you cannot count, everything is Bhagavan alone with various namas and rupas. And then what else to see? This Purusha alone is Satyam. All the nama, rupas, name and forms that have come, they are what? Mithya. Mithya bhuta namarupa. Namarupas. Namarupaha mithya bhutam. Meaning, they are not false, they are not illusion, they are dependent upon Brahman. So, no Brahman, no Namarupa. No Namarupa, Brahman still is. This is what is called Anvaya Vyatireka. Anvaya Vyatireka methodology. So, no Brahman, no Namarupa. And then Brahman is, therefore Namarupa is. And so what do we conclude? Brahman is the cause of all the Namarupas. Namarupas are dependent upon Brahman. And so this is, so instead of looking at the universe as Namarupa alone and glorifying the Namarupas, what do we have to do? We have to see it as nothing but Ishvara. Nothing but Ishvara. Nothing but Bhagavan alone is there. And knowing this, one takes away the avidya. The avidya is gone. The avidya becomes an ahuti to the flame of knowledge of oneself as Brahman alone. More we'll see in 2 weeks' time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.